Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all got a good night's sleep. I know I didn't, and I'm too excited. Oh my god, I've been up far too long, actually. How's everybody doing? I'm hoping you guys have. I'm hoping you guys get to wake up at more normal hours than I did, depending on where you are. Seems like everyone in the chat is already split on what color to get. Graphite looks good. It does look good. Yeah, I think I'm leaning graphite as well. Also, just wanted to give a quick shout out to David Jack. How do I say it? Jackeen? I think he basically became a YouTube member before this live stream even began, so he didn't get the cool activity rings animation and sound effect and everything. So I wanted to give a shout out. Sean, I believe, just sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. Holy bags under the eyes. Yeah, I know. I always look weird. Always looks different in the morning. This is the weirdest YouTube stream I do every year because the lighting always looks weird. My voice sounds weird. I look different. I look funny. Hey, thank you, Storm, for becoming a member. We've gotten a lot of new members in the past few days. Thank you, guys. All right. I'm guessing that because most of you are in the tech community, and that was delayed. Jeez. Okay, thank you, Sean. Most of us are in the tech community. Most of us are more interested in these iPhones for the pro features, whether it's 120 hertz or the updated cameras. So I'm going to go ahead and make a poll asking people which color they're going to get, mostly surrounding the pros. If you're not getting the pro, then we'll do a poll later. But yeah, we shouldn't have much longer, guys. 28 minutes, and we should be good to go. Hey, awesome dude sent a super chat. A sticker. He didn't say anything, but thank you. Because I'm guessing Sierra Blue is the most popular color, and that's what probably makes me like it the least. But I want to see what color is second place, basically. What color are you choosing for 13 Pro? Because that's actually the only thing going up for pre-order today. In years prior, we've actually gotten pretty used to several things going up for pre-order simultaneously. Like, oh, hey, new Apple Watches, new AirPods or something. Like, everything comes out at once. This time, I think the only thing is the iPhone. Nothing else should be dropping today that I'm aware of. It's Lou super chatted. He said, "Daddy Tim is giving me a 13 mini." How do I get free iPhones from Daddy Tim? Okay, I'll never call him that again. Oh my god. Unknown Poster says, "What do you think about Apple's overall product philosophy nowadays in comparison to what it was like 5 to 6 years ago? Is it that different from 5 to 6 years ago?" I'll be honest, I don't think it's that different. Product philosophy. I mean, 5, 6 years ago, they were still like range of like entry-level products, high-end product, pro option, cheap option, except now we're getting smaller iPhones, which is nice. Hey, Djali, thank you for the super chat. Which model do you think will be the best seller? Still the regular 13? That's what it was last time, so I have to imagine it'll be something similar this time around. So I'm going to say, whoa, $20, Joey. What are you doing? It's way too early for that kind of super chat. That's a lot. Thank you. Yeah, I think still probably the regular 13. It's just like the perfect middle ground of like the mini. I can't attribute all of its poor sales just to the battery life or just to the SE coming out. There must be a more popular demographic of people who like the 6-inch form factor. All I remember last year was that the Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max and the 12 Pro sold way better than I was expecting, and I really thought that the 12 Pro would flop because it just had way too many similarities with the 12, and it did not matter. No one cared. Everyone still bought the 12 Pro. So yeah, I have to imagine the 13's probably still going to sell the best, but 13 Pro Max might actually end up being second place just because best battery life in a phone. So Joey said, greetings from Detroit. I need your help, Drew. Pick my colors. Sierra blue or silver. I won't be upset with either. Wow, you're super chatting and you're giving me complete control over which color he gets. Okay, silver or blue. Okay, we gotta look at the website here for just a second. I need to see them. Well, honestly, I need to see them in person, and this isn't going to let me do that. But my guess, I could be wrong, but I always feel like Apple's website inaccurately displays the colors that we're looking for in a product. So what I'm concerned about is the Sierra blue looking a certain way, and then you get it, and it looks way lighter, like way more dim than you were anticipating, and then you regret all of your life decisions. So because of that, I think silver is probably more accurate to what people think. Like how it looks on the website is probably what you're going to end up getting. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and say silver because everyone's going to get Sierra blue. So you're going to blend in with the crowd. Everyone's going to look like, I mean, look at the poll. How's it doing? 50% out of 500 people who voted, 50% are getting Sierra blue. Only 9% are getting silver. So if you're not upset with either, get a phone that'll stand out a little bit more. Thank you, Alpha, for the super chat. Okay, Noah says, which storage for 13 Pro will sell better, 128 or 256? How much will the ProRes 4K matter to people, do you think? I don't think it'll matter that much, honestly. In the past, when I've run my own personal polls, and I think, like, obviously, yes, the tech community is a bit biased because we're more interested in higher storage configurations, which I would argue should lean to the higher storage selling better if I run a poll and ask, like, what people are planning on ordering, what people are planning on buying. And I see an overall leaning towards 128 gig or less. There were still a ton of people, last poll I went, that said I would vote for 64 gig if I could. So that makes me think that the general consumer probably cares even less. So I don't think 256 gig will sell better. Like the 4K thing, if you 4K ProRes is such a niche, such a narrow. Like I don't think the reason the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max sold so well last year was just because of Pro Raw and LiDAR. Like personally, I don't think that's it. So my guess is that people just wanted the shiny one, and people like the shiny looking iPhone, and just because it was shiny, it sold better. So I still think 128 will sell better. But thank you for the super chat, Noah. Okay, Alpha super chatted. He says, I wanted to shop for Macs this morning, but Apple won't let me, even though there is no Mac to pre-order. Okay, that's good. I haven't actually checked yet, so I was curious. You're early, yeah. Okay, so the Apple Store app is down for me. Gonna be ordering my next phone with the 12 mini, of course. And last year, I think, or the year before, I can't remember, they like didn't take the Apple Store down, and it was still up, even like all through 4 a.m. all the way up to 5 a.m. And it was very glitchy. Like I tried to order the iPhone like several times in a row, and it was not working. It kept saying like unavailable. It couldn't complete your order. And I was very annoyed with it last year because it took me like 5 to 10 minutes to order, even though it should have taken like a minute. And I'm glad they took the site down this year because it seems like that's never been a problem whenever they do take the site down. So if the app is down and you can't access it, it's saying pre-orders begin at 5 a.m. Enjoy the extra sleep as I get up super duper early. Thanks, Apple. Yeah, the store wasn't closed until pre-order last year, but it is this year, it seems, which is good. Chris Otham says, can you do a poll for storage sizes too? Yeah, I guess when this poll maxes out, there's still a lot of people voting. Actually looks like graphite is going to be the second most popular color, so now I don't feel as special because I'm planning on getting graphite. Well, it's 29% of people getting graphite. Seems like silver is the least popular color. Will is Awesome says I'm getting a 13 Pro Max 512. Jeez. Good thing I'm not ordering an iPhone today. Yeah, I just hope you got some sleep, Alpha. Jeez. Do you guys know how to complete the pre-saved pre-order? Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, Apple let people pre-order their iPhone this year. This is kind of new. You like go through the checkout process, but you still don't get to decide like if it's shipped or if you pick it up, and you don't decide the payment method other than like Apple Pay or a credit card. So yeah, when it's like enjoy the extra sleep, I'm like, yeah, right, thank you. Um, Super chat from Steven. How do I say this? Huxtable? He super chatted, says, "This is always a tense time for all of us. It's always just a little nerve-wracking." I agree. I think the worst one by far I've ever had was likely... Ooh, I have no clue how to pronounce that, but thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Very generous of you. $2 a month for those who don't know. Get access to updates on upcoming videos. There's the super chat. Thank you, Steven. You get loyalty badges next to your name. You get custom emojis in the chat. Helps me out a ton, so thank you. Okay. The most nerve-wracking one for me, if any of you have been watching for a few years, you might remember the iPhone 10 pre-order stream way back in October of 2017. Like, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get it because I had to order it. Back then, you couldn't get it unlocked. You had to get it through a carrier. And at the time, like, I had just moved out of my parents' place. I had just kind of switched to doing YouTube full time. And I needed to go through my parents' Verizon account. And they needed me to sign in with like the authorized billing password, and Verizon's so complicated they put in this like extra billing pin. There's this extra account information you had to put in that I didn't have access to. So I was like frantically trying to get a hold of my mom and be like, "Mom, what's the password for this?" And on top of that, there was the billing pin code, and it was like a 20-minute process basically of like, oh my god, I'm not gonna get it. And we already knew it was gonna be low volume and like it was gonna be high in demand. So we were really, really nervous, and I was really scared I wasn't gonna get it. It all worked out in the end, but I was quite scared. So that one was probably the most nerve-wracking pre-order stream. Ever since then, it's always gone pretty smoothly, and I'm expecting it to go pretty well today as well. So Surgeonator534, thank you for the super chat. Good morning, mate. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. Hey, my wife is Australian. Thanks for thanks for the donation. It's 9:40 p.m. here. Wow, I'm getting Sierra Blue 256 gig. I normally get Graphite, but this time I'm getting Sierra. I'm upgrading from iPhone 10. Yeah, that'll be a pretty substantial upgrade. I bet your battery health is not doing well. My battery health, let's do a live check. I haven't checked it in a little while. Ooh, okay. Mine's at 93%. It's actually gone down quite a bit in 10 months. Yeah, that's fairly substantial. I wonder if MagSafe is slightly harder on it, or it's just the fact that it's a smaller battery overall. But when I had the iPhone XS Max in 2018 to 19, that I exclusively wirelessly charged. Never fast charged it, never used a lightning cable with it. And after a year of usage, not 10 months, but like the full year, it was like a week before I got the 11 Pro Max, the battery health was 97. It was like pretty good. Whoa. D Jolly became a supporter too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, the member, who I don't know how to pronounce your name, asks, would you ditch the iPhone if Apple Watch paired to iPad mini? I would give it a fair try. I think the main thing that would probably keep me from switching is 120 hertz and Face ID. Like, I'm a big fan of the iPad mini. I can't wait to try it. I'm definitely going to live stream off of it. I'm going to make a ton of videos with it. And I personally think it's the most exciting iPad of the year. The best iPad we've gotten in a long time. In terms of value and features, like, blew my expectations out of the water. Absolutely diehard fan of the Mini, but I can't find a good use for it in my daily life. Thank you for the super chat, IL Phone. Like, I just straight up, I appreciate it, but it's similar to AirTags. Like, I had nothing but good things to say about AirTags. I definitely recommended them to people, everyday people, not just people in the tech community. I was like telling parents and aunts and uncles about AirTags and cousins and be like, hey, you should try these. They would work really well, and they fit very nicely. But I have no use for them. Like, it just, I don't have a workflow that can account for AirTags because I spend so much time at home. I don't lose things, like, ever. So I know that I would just never get much use out of my AirTags, so I don't have one, but I appreciate the product itself. Same thing with the iPad mini. I love it. I literally was just talking with someone last night who texted me, and they were like, hey, I'm thinking of getting a new iPad. Should I get the budget one or should I get the mini? And I was like, well, do you plan on getting the pencil? Because if you do, the mini supports the way better pencil, and you'll like that one more than the Lightning sticking out. And he was like, no, I don't really care about the pencil. And this is my fourth grade teacher, by the way, who I don't keep in contact with super regularly, but we did a EV video together over on Tailosive EV because he has a VW ID4. So we saw him earlier this year, basically, and recorded some videos, and he was really curious which iPad he should get. And I told him that the Mini had the better CPU, and it has the laminated display, and he was like, yeah, I think I want to get the Mini. And I was like, excellent choice. It looks way better. So I would definitely give it a shot. If I could pair my watch with the iPad mini, I would love to just use that as my phone for a while. Okay, big group of super chats here. Tyler says I need moral support buying my sister's phone too. Jeez. Will you be using a case with the phone you're pre-ordering? No, Bart. I stopped buying cases because I realized okay, I got to catch up here. So many people... so many times I get new iPhones over the years, and every time I get a new phone, I have to get a new case, and then my old case becomes useless. So I have a big collection of cases that I can't use anymore because I don't have access to the phones they're built for anymore. So I'm just like, this is kind of a waste of money. Yora said 89% of my iPhone 12 mini. Sad, but it's the perfect size phone. iPhone Pro says I'm getting the 13 Pro Max, the nice blue color. I'm upgrading from 12. The battery health is 88 because of the heat of MagSafe. Geez, that's much worse than me. Curbside says his 12 Pro Max is at 93%. 3-year-old Tennis Max is at 91%. Wow, that's pretty good. You guys are nice to your batteries. Stephen Grice says 82% on his 10S. Okay, IL Phone super chatted. Some type of currency. I don't know what that is. It just says try. Okay, I got to catch up here. Austin's Tech, thank you for the super chat. Good morning. Watching you from the state of Florida. I have the iPhone 11 and have no plans to upgrade. Why are you watching the? Thank you, Jamiro, for becoming a supporter. Okay, Alexander Ramzan says, hi, mate. I'm possibly upgrading from 10S Max. Do you think it's worth the upgrade? As always, what do I always say? I can't remember. It's too early. What the heck do I always say? Worth is subjective. Can you afford it? Do the features sound interesting to you? If anything that we talked about during Apple Event Day sounded interesting, like I want to try cinematic mode, or the battery life seems a lot better, and the 10S Max battery is just not doing it for me. If that sounds like you, yeah, upgrade it. If you can afford it, obviously, don't go into debt over it. But if you're in a situation where your 10S Max is fine, you don't have any problems with the battery, none of the features sound very interesting to you, don't bother. Just keep using your 10S Max. It all depends on the situation you're in. Somalia super chatted and says, love your enthusiasm and energy. Keep up the great content. This is all fake, by the way. I'm very tired. I actually could not sleep for some reason. I think the anticipation was killing me, and I was awake at like 2:45 in the morning, and I was like, oh man, is my alarm about to go off? I don't know. And then I look at my watch. You know, I do the thing where you just turn the digital crown and the brightness just slowly lights up. And I lit it up and I was like, oh, no, it's not even 3 a.m. I got to go back to sleep. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I've been up for a while, unfortunately. But that's okay. I'm excited. Let me see if I can catch up here. It's okay. I answered that one. But yeah, why are you watching all the way from Florida? I guess you're just... You want to see me suffer. There's a lot of people watching that aren't pre-ordering anything. Rockford Media says, morning, Drew. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. You know, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm energized. I've got a busy day. I've got several podcasts to record after this. I've got tech videos and EV videos to make. I've got podcasts that I filmed and need to export today. So it's going to be a long day, but you guys are making it worth it because, man, you're being generous. Austin's Tech super chat, it says, I plan on getting iPad mini if I can. Well, that you've been able to order for a while, just FYI. I mean, obviously, the store is down now, but we got 10 minutes. T-minus 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, until we can start refreshing. John Mark Booth super chatted, says, this will be my first iPhone, 256 gig Blue Pro Max. That's interesting. Okay, how many people have voted? Wow. 1,500 people voted. I think I'm going to end the poll here. Looks like gold is actually the least popular option at 9%. Sierra blue at 53. And graphite at 27. Man, I'm not as original as I thought. Okay, now I want to do a poll for storage configurations. I'm very curious. Just because I want to know what people are going for. Hey, Sarah McCargo. Did you become a member and then super chat? Jeez, that's like overkill. You guys keep your money for these iPhones. They're coming out soon. I think you'll enjoy your new iPhone much more than my channel. I'd never checked until now. 80% on my iPhone XR. Oh, that's from Chelsea Allen. 80%, really? You didn't notice? That's good, I guess, as long as you don't. Okay, I'm going to set the poll up here. What storage option are you getting? I guess even people getting the regular 13 can vote in this, too. You just obviously won't pick the... you just won't pick the 1 terabyte option. So, yeah, even if you're not planning on getting the Pro, you should be able to partake. Nicholas, hey, thank you for the super chat. He says, I got my 12 Pro, but got to wait till March for my AT&T Next to be ready. Gonna cop 13 Pro Max for my mom. Jeez, you're a generous son. My goodness. You want to give a 13 Pro Max for your mom? Are you getting her the 1 terabyte option as well? Does she do a lot of 4K ProRes recording? Sounds like kind of a cool mom, to be honest. But jeez. Okay. You don't need to say what you're buying in the chat. I'll put up a poll so that we don't have to all spam at once. I think you mentioned once which features should have iPhone 14 that you would upgrade. That question is keeping me up at night as well because I know. Okay, thank you, Austin. I know that all year, basically, I've been telling people. Okay, here it goes. I watched as I like your streams and videos. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate the super chat. iPhone Day says iTech. Thank you. All year I've been saying that I wanted this 13 Pro Max to be my last iPhone for a while, for at least a few years, because 120 hertz is like my only wish for this feature. I didn't want much out of my phone, but this was like the one thing I wanted. And after that, I was like, I think the camera's amazing. I can't really see many points in upgrading just for a periscope lens or something. Like, I don't really see any need to upgrade after the fact of getting 120 hertz. I don't care about the notch getting smaller. I don't care if it's a camera hole or if it's all completely gone and underneath the display. That part of that part of the display doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I have the biggest notch out of everybody. I've been using a 12 mini for 10 months with the full-size notch, and I do not care. I do not notice it. It does not intrude on my content. It's not an obnoxious intrusion as much as people make it out to be. It doesn't bug me at all. I don't care. I MagSafe all the time, so even if they switch to USB-C, I would be happy they did, but I wouldn't upgrade for that because I'm going to charge inductively anyway. But that being said, I'm debating. I haven't decided, but like what might sway me. I can't say I've been completely convinced yet because I haven't tried out the feature. But what might sway me is if cinematic mode or ProRes recording allows you to do 4K at 60. That is dependent on a few things, though. Okay, I'm not saying for sure. I'm not saying absolutely that's changing my mind. I'm not 100% because nice. This is mean, not mean. Sorry. This is too much super chat. You guys gotta slow down, or else I'm gonna start banning people again. Okay, so if cinematic mode ends up looking really, really good, and it ends up looking really impressive, and it's very cinematic, and I love it, and the video quality is fantastic, but the only issue is that it's limited to 1080 at 30, and that's the only thing holding me back from using it more. That would really make me want to upgrade for that feature alone. Just if the next iPhone allows for cinematic mode at a higher resolution and frame rate. But I am adamant, I am firm on this. It has to be 4K at 60. I don't think I would do another side upgrade to go from 1080 at 30 to 4K at 30. I care about high frame rate. I care about recording at 4K at 60. So that's like the bare minimum I would upgrade for. Anything else, I don't care. Anything else, I don't care about a periscope lens. I don't care about a punch hole display. I don't care about the circular buttons. I don't care if the camera bump goes away. I don't care if it has USB-C. I don't care what it does. That might be the only feature I end up caring about. But it depends on how the iPhone 13 Pro Max performs, because I will also agree if it ends up being the case that I try cinematic mode and it's not that good. It still looks kind of compressed, and the bokeh doesn't do a great job, and the rack focusing is kind of gimmicky. If it doesn't impress me and I can tell that 1080 at 30 is not the limiting factor, then I won't upgrade. I'll just be like, okay, cinematic mode is cool, but I don't need a new phone to get that at 4K. So it's going to depend a lot on how good the 13 Pro Max is. Okay. Super chatted from Joey says, as per your pick, I'm getting silver 256 gig storage only because I don't want the limitation on ProRes regardless of how much I use it. That's hilarious. I'm surprised so many people are opting for 256 gig just for that feature. That's not even ready yet, by the way. Thank you, Nicholas, for the super chat. But yeah, for those who don't know, that 4K ProRes feature, not even 4K, any version of ProRes is not yet available on launch. It's gonna be a feature that comes out later in the fall. I'm refreshing, but apparently AT&T just updated their site, so if you're upgrading through AT&T, it should be available. So thanks for the heads up, Nicholas. Appreciate that. Road to 250K. Yeah, thank you, Yoris. We did it. We reached 250,000 subscribers. Sierra or Graphite? I switched to the Mac to use the app. The way I look at it is this. If you get Graphite, you will probably find other products in the ecosystem that can match that. If you buy Sierra Blue, basically nothing else in the ecosystem is going to match that. Like if you're planning on getting the Series 7 in a steel color that will match your Pro iPhone, there's no Sierra Blue Apple Watch. There is a graphite, there is a silver, and there is a gold, but not a blue. Holy crap. I didn't check the storage poll. Are you serious? 1,500 votes, and it's 256 gigs is winning. There's actually more people getting 256 gig off of this feature alone? What? Thank you for the donation, Scott. He said, considering side grading from 256 gig 11 Pro Max to 128 gig 13 Pro. 13 Pro ticks off a lot of my wish list, and I think 6.7 inches is too big even for me. Yeah, I think it's a substantial enough upgrade. I wouldn't consider that a side grade. You're still getting 120 hertz, the way better camera. I think pretty good battery life. So I wouldn't consider that a side grade. That's still an upgrade for me. What's the difference between ProRes and cinematic? Asks Haken. So basically, cinematic mode, which doesn't matter which iPhone you buy, you could buy the $1,600 1 terabyte 13 Pro Max, and it's limited at 1080p at 30 frames a second if you record in cinematic mode. All cinematic mode is basically portrait mode video. So it's basically, instead of just taking a picture with a blurred background and the subject in focus, it's taking a video with a blurred background, and you can change what's in focus in post or as you're recording. So it looks really cinematic. It gives you that DSLR-like feel, but it's still going to be 1080 at 30 no matter which iPhone you buy. ProRes, which is not going to be out at launch, it won't be ready until the fall, is recording the iPhones at a different video codec. So right now, all of our iPhone videos, at least most of them, I think all the high-res ones, are recorded. Whoa, thank you, Chin, for the super chat. Okay, it's almost time. 1 minute. I should start refreshing. ProRes is a higher bit rate. Basically, it's like it's not exactly lossless, but it's more of a lossless video recording format where it's going to take up a lot of space, but the video file should not be compressed as much as it is with the codec that all of our iPhones are using now, which is typically HEVC, which stands for High Efficiency Video Codec, otherwise known as H.265. And it's a very efficient codec, but there's a lot of compression that goes on. There's a lot of trickery in the software to get the video file as low as possible, which is good because you don't want it to take up too much space on your phone. So it makes sense that most of our videos are somewhat compressed, and they're not terrible. You can still get really good video at that format, but ProRes is a video codec that Apple developed themselves, and my Blackmagic cameras, like the big one here behind me, and this camera, I'm not recording right now, I'm streaming, so the bit rate's a lot lower, but basically those cameras record at ProRes, which is that iPhones are now going to be able to shoot. And ProRes is very fascinating to me because we've always seen how smartphone sensors are. Geez, Ronnie, what are you doing? My God. We've always seen how smartphone sensors like to compress video so that it's not quite as good as professional cameras, but now we're not going to get as much compression. So I can't wait to see how much better it is. If it ends up not being that much better, then I'm less likely to upgrade next year because I'm like, okay, ProRes doesn't really change much. It's time. So now I'm refreshing. The Apple Store is 1 minute late for me so far. This is normal, but don't freak out. Okay, Chin Super Chatted says, if you don't upgrade, how will you continue to make videos? Don't you need the newest iPhone? I don't absolutely need it, and also I can buy Apple products that I don't keep. I'm still planning on reviewing the new iPhone every year. But I don't have to, I can sell it or I can trade it for something else. It's just a matter of like, will I sell my old iPhone in replacement of the new one? And as of now, unless we get improvements in cinematic mode and ProRes, I don't see a point in upgrading. Ryan says he got his mom's order through already. Jacob said order placed on Apple app, so don't freak out. Basically, the Apple app goes live at different times for everyone, so mine's not live yet. But I'm refreshing right now, and I'm going to order as soon as it's up. So once it's up, you might see me get quiet, and then I'll do my best to keep up with the chat. Ronnie D super chatted and said, I'm excited and very much sleep deprived. I'm right there with you, Ronnie. I'm very sleep deprived. Oh, here it goes. It worked. I got a pop-up. Devices for pre-order. Please wait while we access. Okay, it's up for me. Here it comes. Complete. Okay, check out. We're gonna do okay. Select the check-in window. That's good. I select the time. Gotta get quick. Gotta be quick. I think that's it. Make sure I pay with my Apple Card to get that 3% back. Whoa. Why does it want me to select the phone number? Okay, wait, you should know this, Apple. Come on. Okay, here it goes. Processing. It's loading. Yes! I got it. Look forward to seeing you. Okay, it's booked. All right, order number I'm going to add to my wallet. That's cool. The pre-order thing worked for me too. Yeah, that was a lot faster. I didn't have to select, favorites or pick a trim or something. Apple Store added to my wallet. Okay, it's been done. I did it. Now we can sleep. Woo-hoo. Okay, is there any other changes to this store? I'm curious. Did they update anything else? They still, what's funny? They still don't have any reference to the Apple Watch Series 7 in the app. Simply Pop says nothing for me yet, or JJ says mine still won't load. Don't freak out. This is normal. This happens. It's happened to me too. The store will go live at different times depending on where you are in the world. So it doesn't all go live for the same time for everybody. Matthew says, I'm so happy I did it. Going back to bed. Good night, Matthew. Sleep well. Sleep good. Yeah, Tech-Based Cowboy said the pre-order thing worked super well. I'm glad. What storage option are you leaning towards? I got, thanks for asking, Randy. I got 256 gig because I got the 128 gig 12 mini last year. And I'll tell you what I'm at right now, actually. I basically did not fill it up at all. General iPhone storage, 0 kilobytes. See, it always takes forever to load. But I don't believe I've even used 32 gigs on my 12 mini. So basically, I could have saved $50 last year and got the 64 gig option, and I would have been fine. I just thought, hey, it doesn't cost that much. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not reading that name, though. You might want to consider a different one, and I'll read it. Oh, my God. I'm waiting for the Apple Watch Series 7. Yeah, I don't know when that's going to be available, but... Oh, did 128 gig take the lead? I didn't look at the poll. Let me see how it's doing. Wow. What? I bet more people vote in these YouTube polls than they do in the election polls. Because, holy crap, 2,600 people voted, and 41% 128 gig, but 39% said 256. You know what's funny? Actually, what makes me laugh is 1 terabyte is not last. And I got into arguments with people. Where are you, Tim? Is Tim watching? I love getting into arguments with Tim because Tim is always the guy on Twitter who proves to me that I'm not the biggest Apple sheep on the planet. But he said, he basically said that the 512 gig option is the worst seller and 1 terabyte will sell even worse. But here on this poll, 11% of people are opting for 1 terabyte and 9% are doing 512. So there's actually more people voting for 1 terabyte than 512. That makes sense. Okay, thank you for the super chat, Chin. Once again, he says, I see that makes sense. So then you just wouldn't be able to do any long-term videos. Love from Maryland. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't do the 1 year later. I guess I would just do longer term because right now I've never been able to do iPhone 11 2 years later because I don't hold on to my iPhone that long. So I would just do different long-term videos. But I was mainly trying to challenge myself to see if I could hold on to a phone longer, just to kind of make a point about how iPhone upgrades are getting more and more minor. I don't think most people are going to care about what resolution cinematic mode is or what resolution what frame rate you can record 4K ProRes at. I don't think that's going to make a massive difference to people. So, I think upgrades are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as years go on. But at the same time, I really want, if cinematic mode looks really, really good and it looks as good as this camera, and I could use that for filming tech videos on trips, or I'm still planning on filming a tech video with the 13 Pro Max regardless. And I want to mess around with ProRes for sure and see how much storage that takes up. But at the same time, that kind of goes against what I've been saying all year. And who am I if I'm not a man of my word? A hypocrite, right? I'm kind of digging myself into this grave. Just ordered on the app, check the website again, and it's still not up. Yeah, we're gonna wait a few minutes. Right now, everything is fresh, so I don't think anything is slipping. But as the live stream goes on, we'll check different storage configurations and see if any of them are slipping. I'll check the website just to see if Apple gave any more information on the Series 7. It looks like they did not. It still just says available later this fall. I'm actually really excited for the Series 7. That's what today's tech video is going to be on. Spoiler! Members already knew that. Super chat from Rational Pragmatist. Best option to sell old iPhone. I typically sell local. I'll just post it on a marketplace type app, and I don't like shipping. I've heard too many bad stories of things going wrong during the shipping process, or things going wrong when the receiver gets the iPhone and they claim they didn't get the iPhone, and then it's lost in the shipping. So I don't sell my iPhones on Swappa, although I know a lot of people who have had success. So maybe that's a good way to do it. I don't know. I just haven't tried it. There are Series 7 details on the band's pages. What about it? What details? Got mine. 128 gig Gold Pro. Okay, cool. There's still a lot of people getting 128. Sammy super chatted and says, is there difference in RAM between 1 terabyte and the rest? As far as we're aware, I don't think so. I believe it should be 6 gigs for all the Pros. Sorry, Chris is saying, There's a lot of people typing in the chat, so I apologize if I don't read every message. Cheese Grater said copped. Chelsea says Apple website hasn't gone live for me yet. Oh, weird. Usually I've had better success with the app. Good morning, Mohammed. Sorry, Chris. I'm trying to see your old messages, but I don't see them. Pre-ordering went fast for Jane Sackman. Awesome. I'm glad it did. Yeah, I'm scrolling up, Chris, and I don't see it. I'm so happy. Did it? Yeah, I thought I read all of them. I see your message, Chris Norton, that says, why don't you read my messages? But I can't. I don't see your older messages. I'm trying to look for them. Okay, Christian super chatted says, I ordered the blue 13 Pro Max 128 gig delivery on Wednesday. Congrats. Wait, Wednesday? From who? How are you getting it on Wednesday? That's way too soon. Do you know someone we don't? So one of those carriers saying like, yeah, we'll get it to you a little early. I don't think they can. I think that's up to Apple, honestly. Let's see. The 13 is not as minor as you made it out to be. You said that it'll be the most boring iPhone upgrade we've had in a year, even more boring than the 10S. I think you can kind of make that argument. It's like, I would argue there were a lot of changes with the 10S. I would say there's not a ton of changes with the 13 that people might care about. I mean, obviously there are some features some people might care about, but yeah, I mean, I'll agree. The 13 ended up having more features than I was anticipating. I would say probably the biggest one was cinematic mode. But like year over year upgrades 12 to 13 isn't that different from 10 to 10S. Like the battery life was improved. Check. They both did that. The cameras got slightly better. Check. The notch got a tad bit smaller. So I guess some people might consider that a big difference. I don't personally, but Charles Patterson, thank you for the super chat. I got my 256 gig graphite one in Australia. It's now not available till next month. Really? Have they backordered that much? Jeez, I didn't realize it would go back that fast. Okay, I got to start messing around. Oh, Colin23 super chatted says bought silver 13 Pro 128 and won't and got email confirmation, but order won't show up in the Apple Store app. Yeah, that's pretty typical. I don't think that's a problem. Okay, let me toy around here with the site. I want to see if it's working for me for one, and then what the ship times are slipping to. Are you looking forward to your new phone and big battery? Yes, Chris, absolutely. I'm actually not that terribly excited about the battery because for the most part, the 12 mini has been a great battery for me. It's only been an issue when I go on road trips. Other than that, I got no problem with my 12 mini battery, but I'm most excited for the 120 hertz display just because I've wanted that for so many years and I'm finally about to get it. So that's a big deal for me. Let's see. Sierra Blue Pro Max. Man, a lot of Pro Max orders today. Pre-order is super fast this year. Okay. Let me make sure this doesn't dox me if I plug in a combination. Just give me a sec. No, I don't. Delivery details for your area will be shown in checkout. Oh, come on. That's not helpful. It won't even let me. Yeah, the site's not working for me. It won't let me hit continue even though I clicked everything. Okay, I'll just show you. Like you can click and select everything, but the continue button is grayed out. It's just not there at all. Let me do this again. Blue. Yeah, I can't do it. Weird. Okay, well, I guess I could try looking through the app. I just can't show it on the screen. Okay, Christian says, I'm going to get the 13 Pro 256 in graphite. I was debating to get the High Sierra Blue, but I wear dark-colored clothes most of the time. I appreciate the 120 hertz since I got a 2020 iPad Pro. Yes, appreciate the buttery smooth peanut butter display. I'm already, like, annoyed with the... I'm already, like, annoyed with the 60 hertz. Every time I look at my 12 mini, I'm like, disgusting. Let's see. I like my 256 gig phone not full after 2 years. Yeah, I doubt I'm going to fill up mine unless the ProRes ends up being really good and I record using that all the time. Okay, I'll use the app. I'll check it. I want to see if ship times are slipping because I want to know what's high in demand. Okay, I'm going to do 13 Pro Max Sierra Blue 128 gig because I think that one's probably the most common. There's so many options at checkout. Okay, that one's still available at launch for me. Chin, thank you for the super chat. When do I think 120 hertz will come to the normal iPhone? I'd want the 13, but kind of want to wait for 120 hertz to come first. It's hard to say because I didn't select the carrier. I select unlocked. You can buy it unlocked. I didn't say because they've chosen to make 120 hertz a pro feature with the iPads. And it's been a pro feature with iPads ever since 2017. And despite all of the upgrades between the iPad mini and the iPad Air, they have shown no interest in bringing that to cheaper iPads. So because it's iPhones, though, they might consider coming up with features that they feel like, to keep up with the competition, because there's a lot of cheaper Android phones with 120 hertz now. So maybe for the sake of staying relevant, they might bring 120 hertz to the iPhone 14 lineup, but I wouldn't count on it. Like, basically, I could see them going either way. It would not shock me if they brought 120 hertz to the cheaper iPhones, because people like it on the Pros, and I hear a lot of people saying they enjoy that, and I still have a hard time figuring out, like, what are they going to do with next year's iPhones? Every year I ask myself that question, like, what can you change that would make people want to upgrade? And it sounds like, at least for some of you, 120 hertz might be one of those features you care a lot about. So that might be it. Yeah, I think I saw Quigley Poo super chatted. Thank you. He said 13 Pro Max Graphite 256 upgrade from 12 Pro 256. Why? Because life is too short. The phones are hot, and I'll give 12 to mom, who only has under $200 Androids. Okay, that's nice of you. You love your mom. You're setting her up with a better phone. I appreciate it. Chris Norton says, I filled my 128 gig in 4 years. ProRes might change that. If you had a ProRes phone, yeah, I would do it if it was 90 hertz, people are saying. Yeah, that might be a interesting comparison, actually. Good morning. Oh, good. Randy's live, too. That's awesome. Zied, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for the super chat. No message, but thank you. Let's see. Best Buy is down when you try to pre-order. Never trust Best Buy. Okay, deliveries have not slipped for the base model Pro Max. Let me switch to 1 terabyte. See if that changes anything. Ooh, it did. I selected 1 terabyte, and it's not available until next month, October 6th. I guess that's not that delayed. And it's unavailable for pickup. Wow. Okay, let me select graphite. Whoa, graphite 1 terabyte is also delayed until next month. What about silver? Also delayed. Gold 1 terabyte is still available at launch for me. So, okay, at first I was thinking maybe 1 terabyte is just completely out until next month. But gold is still available for me if you want the 1 terabyte Pro Max. Okay, interesting. Let me try the regular 13 Pro. 13 Pro 1 terabyte is still available at launch for shipping, but not pickup. 512 is available for pickup. This is in gold. I should go to Sierra Blue. Okay, Sierra Blue, 512 gigs still available at launch. 256 still available at launch. 128 gig. My guess is Apple did not stock up on 1 terabyte iPhones in production because they figured that would be lower volume, and then they might actually end up getting a surge in those that they weren't expecting. Whoa, Ricardo, thank you for becoming a member. Some people got that. Mike, stop flexing. Why is Mike flexing? Okay, XGuy9 super chatted, says got the Pro Max 256 graphite. Hey, me too. With the leather case. I'm fancy. Have a blessed day. Ooh, he's getting the leather case to go along with it. That is such a flex. Let's see. Astrophotography and always on display. Yeah, I wouldn't upgrade for that personally. If you want that, that's fine. I don't have an issue with it, but I don't care about the always on display personally. I turned it off on my watch, and I've had it on Android phones that I reviewed in the past, and I didn't like it. Okay, we got some super chats here. Tom Herbert, thank you very much for the dono. Finally swapping my 5-year-old 6S for a 12 Pro, because for me it's about the same price as a 13 and the extra RAM and more premium design. Really? You can get a 12 Pro for $800? Where are you buying that? Refurbished from Apple? I don't know. Oliver, thank you for the donation. Got the 13 Pro Max 256 in gold. $100 more for 256, and to try out the ProRes feature in cinematic mode in 4K and peace of mind. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, Oliver. I hope you don't end up regretting this, but cinematic mode is still going to be limited to 1080p even with 256. Cinematic mode is 1080 at 30 across the board. Doesn't matter which iPhone you get. You will be able to get ProRes at 4K, but I genuinely don't think average consumers are going to care. I think the only people that might be able to take advantage of the ProRes recording are people who do a lot of video work. If you're just like occasionally filming stuff on vacation, I don't think ProRes is necessary. It's probably going to take up a ton of space. Oh, Tom Herbert said eBay. Okay, well, I appreciate all the super chats, but I hate to bring this up again. I'm going to say it once because we've been live for a while, but becoming a YouTube member only costs $2 a month. Your name stands out in the chat, and I do a lot of these live streams, so you'll show up a lot. You'll get the loyalty badges, custom emojis, updates on upcoming videos, exclusive Discord channel access. I'm just saying, saving you some money. Can put it towards a leather case. Okay, Courtney super chatted, says, you convinced me to switch from the blue to silver Pro Max 128 gig. Yes! I'm getting people to not buy the color option they thought they wanted. I think it's just too baby blue. I think that's my problem with it. Like, it looks kind of cool on the website, but you know, this is going to look very silverish and very white in person, and it's going to end up looking like a baby phone just because of the color. Yeah, Ryan's like, people confusing cinematic mode with ProRes. They are, which I don't blame them for. It is kind of confusing. The other confusing part is don't get that confused with Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision is different from ProRes, which is different from cinematic mode. Although I think technically cinematic mode is shot in Dolby Vision. I think I saw that on the website. He's advertising his own bra. I know, it's terrible, right? Chris says, let's go to first class. Not yet. We're not there yet, Christian. It's not that bad. I think the iPhone 13 has astrophotography. There was a picture in Apple's keynote of the sky, and it looked like it had that feature. I don't think it's a dedicated feature. Oh, yeah, to become a member, first link in the description. It's just night mode is better now. Like, the apertures are wider, so the low light photography will be better, and that results in the night mode shots you take being better, including that of the sky. But that's it. ProRes is good for those of us who are in Final Cut Pro. Yes, exactly. The video timeline should work much smoother than HEVC because of ProRes, and that's what Final Cut is kind of optimized for. Looks like all models are still available for the 24th, says Thunder Road. I am not seeing that at all. Base model maybe, but let me check again. Sierra Blue 128 gig, still available at launch. Silver at launch. Gold at launch. Yeah, 128 gig they probably made a lot of, but if I go to 256, still looks like all of them. 1 terabyte must be in high demand then. But yeah, we're only 23 minutes into pre-orders. I don't think you would see much slip times in that amount. Like the iPhone 10 didn't see much delays in ship time until like 30 minutes in, if I remember correctly. But 512 gig, Sierra Blue is at launch, Silver's at launch, Gold is at launch. Okay, so it's the 13 Pro is what I'm comparing now. The 13 Pro seems pretty readily available at launch, but the 13 Pro Max unavailable for pickup on Graphite. Sierra Blue unavailable for pickup. Gold is still available at launch. Silver is delayed, but still available for pickup. So I'm seeing pushbacks already in the first 20 minutes. Joey Z, thank you for the super chat. Is it normal to not receive confirmation email right away? I can't remember. Yes. Apple is dealing with so many orders right now, and they have a ton of emails that they're having to send out because literally like millions of people are putting in their orders for new iPhones today. So it's very normal. Don't freak out. Like the order numbers are typically delayed. I would actually be surprised if they were on time. So just be patient. It'll probably show up. Do a poll on which iPhone among the 4. I thought we did that in a previous stream, and it wasn't that interesting. Looks like 4,000 people voted. Jeez, that means a lot of people voted and left. 42% 128 gig, 38% 256 gig, 12% said 1 terabyte, and 9% said 512. That's interesting. 12 Pro Max didn't show slipping until lunchtime on the East Coast. Wow. Nothing will be as crazy as the iPhone 10 or 7 Plus Jet Black pre-orders. Maybe it will again if there's more production issues, but I don't think they had that many production problems this year. Bart Jansen says, over here in the Netherlands, almost everything slipped to October 4th through 11th. I secured the 24th delivery date. Yes! Good job. It was worth it. JJ says he got a 128 gig 13-inch Starlight, pumped to be upgrading from an 8 Plus. Oh, nice. Yeah. That should be a pretty substantial change. Hey, Sammy. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Chin says, you're telling me if I become a member, you'll still me my messages as you are now? Well, you can see the members in the chat. Their name is green, and they have a loyalty badge next to their name. So when there's a big wall of white text, and obviously when there's freaking 1,700 people watching, the members stand out a lot easier for me. So that's why, I prioritize those messages. It's just easier to see than it is to like keep track of random names when there's like 1,000 different names to keep track of. It's hard, but when there's members, those stand out. So yes, I'll read. It's more likely for me to catch those. But yeah, I'll still grab non-member messages here and there. But Courtney, hey, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate that. But yeah, it also just gives you access to certain updates. I always post for the members what videos are coming up, what to expect from the channel later. And of course, the longer you're a member, the more that badge will change over time. And it doesn't cost that much. So thank you. Thank you, Courtney. They must have shifted production on TSMC and from the watch to iPhone. Yeah, I mean, we heard about production issues with the watch, but there's all kinds of conspiracy theories surrounding the Series 7 now. I didn't know there's a difference between the 128 gig and 256 with the ProRes. Wow. Yeah, Saul, that's Apple's that's pretty rare for them to do, honestly. I don't see Apple do stuff like that very regularly. They literally restricted a feature that I'm not sure if it's a technical limitation. I think I've seen a lot of people say that it might actually be a tech thing. Some people were thinking that, no, you totally could do ProRes at 4K, but they just want you to spend more money, so they only let you do it on the higher storage configuration. But I think that everyone wants to be in the first class Tailosive tech supporter, I know. I think that actually the write speed of the higher SSDs are higher. Thank you, Dylan, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. If you buy like all these chips between the A15, whether you buy the 128 gig or the 1 terabyte, Anonymous became a supporter too. Thank you. That's weird. YouTube calls it Rational Pragmatist, but the Streamlabs thing called it Anonymous. There's another name that I won't repeat, but I appreciate Lil Bitty. Lil Bitty, thanks for becoming a member. But basically, I think that it's the same size chip across all of these different storage options, and the higher storage tiers like 256 and 512 actually have a higher write speed because it's the same size chip, and that means that obviously maybe you need the faster write speed and in order to hit 4K at ProRes, because ProRes is going to take up a lot more space. So it's possible that maybe they could have done higher storage. They could have done 4K at the 128 gig, and maybe they restricted it simply because they know that the ProRes is going to take up so much space that they just don't even want to offer it on an iPhone that's 128 gigs. But honestly, I think I would much rather I think I would honestly rather them just drop the 128 gig option and have more expensive iPhones. It says Andy Blaha became a supporter. Thank you very much. As did Nick Mansell, which I didn't see it show up in the animation for some reason. But thank you for becoming a member. Lots of people signing up today. Thank you. First link in the description to become a YouTube member for those curious. It's just it can't do it through the YouTube iOS app, but you can do it through Safari on your phone. But yeah, all these new members today. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Seriously, you guys are super genuine. What did I say? Genuine? Changed my mind and went with graphite over the blue. Yes. Come to the dark side, Tyler. Yes. There was a jump cut between iPad and watch. This must mean Apple switched the Apple Watch design mere weeks before the event. Right. There was an editing cut which confirms that Apple changed all of their suppliers and all of their plans and designed a custom watch face that takes advantage of the display going over the edge at the last second. Yes, that's what that means. Ricardo says 41 millimeter and 45 are the Series 7 measures. Also, I put Series 6 and 7 images side by side. It seems a bit different on the bottom, while top curvature is almost identical. Really? I did not notice that. Thank you, Andy. Let's see. I bet they didn't make a ton of 1 terabyte models, which is why it's pretty sold out. Yeah, I would assume they guessed that would sell in lower volume. Graphite all the way, baby. I know. Let me see. I'm pretty sure the Series 7 has a side-by-side I can look at. But I have fallen in love with this design, frankly. It is so much better than I thought it was going to be. Because you couldn't do this with the flat edge design that was rumored. You couldn't have this design with the screen going over the edge like that. Like, it's so futuristic and modern looking. I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Like, look at this side by side. You know, honestly, I don't get why a lot of people are saying the Series 7 isn't a redesign. Because if you don't consider this a redesign, then you can't really consider the 4 a redesign. All that changed with the 3 and the 4 is they made it slightly more rounded. And the display got bigger. And with this, the display got bigger, and now the display is going over the edge. So the chassis didn't get necessarily more round, but it's more durable. I still consider that a somewhat substantial upgrade. I mean, just look at how beautiful that is. I can't wait to try that out myself. I want to see it in person, because I always thought the bezels on the Series 6 looked bigger on the website than they do in person. Like, looking at my Series 6, I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty modern. I like the bezel size on this. But on the website, the Series 7 bezels look like even more crazy thinner. And I know that in person, those bezels are going to be even more thin. Yeah, the jump cut only proves that Apple edited the keynote. Let's see. I think it's because the Series 4 got thinner. Did it, though? It's slightly. I thought the flat design was a usability fail. I wouldn't say a usability fail, but I just think that the design they went with looks better. I ended up preferring that. I'm still confused as how the 7 works. Like, how does the screen reach the metal but also have bezels? They're very thin bezels. That's how. There's bezels on the top-down view because there's just a slight... I think they said on the website that they reduced the bezels by 40%. Dang, I thought the keynote was live. Yeah, the whole thing. Aaron says, last year I stopped myself from opting for the Prone lineup due to both lineups being extremely similar, but this year there are reasons to buy the Pro. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a ton of reasons to get the Pro this year. I thought 120 hertz is noticeable and appreciated by many. So... Christian, I see your messages. You don't have to do all caps. It's okay. Since I don't got a watch, I'll be getting the Series 4 at $150 used. Dang. I hope the battery health is okay. Just look for that. Let's see. I was in intermediately with the delivery date is now end of October. Really? Okay, we're 33 minutes in. Let me start comparing. Oh my God. Mohit. Thank you, Mr. Mendy, for becoming a YouTube member and supporting the channel. Helps me out a ton. Thank you. And then we got a big super chat from Hunter, Mr. Hunter D, who says, is it typical for a delay on the charge on your card? My order processed, but there is no charge on my card. I always grabbed my phones from work, never pre-ordered before. Yes. Actually, I ordered the iPad Mini 6 way back in... way back on Tuesday. I'm acting like that was so long ago. Well, much long time ago, I pre-ordered in the distant land of Tuesday. On Tuesday, I ordered it, and I have not been charged for it. But I got the email. I did the Apple Pay thing, and it's not showing up on my Apple Card at all. So, yeah, that is normal. It'll take a little time. It usually actually won't show up on your card until like a day or two before pickup. Thank you for the super chat, Harriet. Appreciate it. But yeah, spamming does not get your message read. I'm sorry. Thank you, Harriet. You didn't say anything, but he super chatted $10. Jeez. Why do you guys do that? Like, I'm grateful. Thank you. But what do you get out of that? You're just like, Drew spent a bunch of money. I'm going to send him money. Doesn't say anything. Like, what's the advantage? Like, I don't understand. Seriously, why are you guys so generous? It's not, doesn't make sense to me. Mr. Hayocean, thank you for becoming a member. Mr. Wang, thank you. They charge when it ships. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's the rule. They charge when it ships. I'm picking up, so I don't know when I'll get charged, but yeah, typically it doesn't get charged instantly. That's very normal. You could have Googled that. You didn't need to super chat to find that out, but see, I'm going to spend the whole live stream actively telling people, don't become a member, don't super chat, especially when too many people have donated. It's getting out of control now. Money talks. I mean, I'll read messages that that aren't super chats. Hey, Joshua. Ooh, can I pronounce that? Genuelwix. Sorry, I'm butchering it, I'm sure. But thank you for becoming a member. Super chat from Chenille says, what case do you recommend for the Pro Max? You know, I'm not a big case guy. As you can see, I never bought a single case for my 12 mini. I've gone caseless all year. I just take care of my phone. I don't even have Apple Care. That's right. I'm that brave. I'm that crazy. And you just take care of your stuff. You know, it's expensive. Be nice to it. Don't drop it. But I haven't looked at very many cases. I have bought silicone cases in the past, and generally I've liked them, but they're not. Oh my God. Bogdana Truitt became a supporter, as did Hunter. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. That's extremely nice of you. So many new members today. There's Hunter's. You guys must love that air power sound effect because it seems to be going off like crazy today. Anyway, I've tried silicone cases in the past, and they're always they age not so great. They start falling apart and they start tearing, and little pieces start coming off. Leather ages a tad better, but it still like scuffs. And it still like shows marks and scratches over time. So I just don't really like any of Apple's cases, to be frank. But yeah, silicone's fine in the short term. Most of the aging I'm talking about happens after like 2 years or 3 years. But I don't like how oily they get. But who knows? Maybe they improve the material, and I just haven't tried it. JCP super chatted and says, planning on going with the 13 Pro Max graphite, either 256 or 512, depending on the 12 Pro Max trade-in. Have you not ordered it yet? I don't know if you're going to be getting it on launch, JCP. The ship times might be slipping. I almost said the slip times might be shipping. That makes no sense. I thought you always did delivery. What changed your mind? So in the past, when I had the big office, I was more in not a major city, but I was in more of a city. And when I ordered things online, I would typically get them fairly early in the morning. The deliveries for my old office were like 10 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm moved, of course, into my own place, and this is far better because I own this house. I don't rent, so I get to, save a lot of money that way. Man, you guys are donating way too much. Can you slow down on the super chats, guys? I gotta catch up here. Thank you, but please stop. Basically, ever since I've moved here, I am like further along in the delivery schedule for FedEx and UPS. So now when I order things here, they don't show up until like 3 p.m. Man, Jeffrey Lynn became a supporter too. Jeez, thank you, Jeffrey. They don't show up here until like 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. And by the time the package gets here and I film the unboxing and edit it and post it, it's like the last video to drop. So it takes forever for the freaking iPhones to get here when I order them online. So I'm leaning to do more pickups in the future just to save time. But I don't know. I still have to drive very far because I don't live very close to an Apple store. I have to drive over an hour to get to one. And still, shockingly, that ends up saving time. But okay. Let me catch up here. Chin super chatted says, I wasn't aware that becoming a member chat stand out too. I could have been saving money. I know, Chin, you could have. Come on, like they let me set the YouTube memberships to $2 a month, which they used to not allow for. So I'm glad it can be less. Andy Blaha super chatted as well for some reason. Hunter says, I dropped my leather case one time and the entire bottom is scuffed. Yeah, the leather cases are kind of fragile, which defeats the point. This is what I mean. Like, I'm not a huge fan of any Apple case, to be honest with you. Christian says, donate to support Drew cover his massive expenses. You'll feel great doing so. I can't guarantee you'll feel great, but it does help me cover the expenses. I just spent like $1,300 on a new iPhone this morning. So Jeffrey became a member. Thank you very much. Joey is also part of the No Case gang. Bogdana says, ordered my iPhone 13 Pro in blue, 256, upgraded from 12 Pro. Good for you. I hope you like the blue. Glad you got your order in. Brian Montero, thank you for the super sticker. Seems like you guys are not listening to me at all for some reason. Why do you not listen? Heyocean, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Heyocean says, I ordered 2 phones with different cards. Some of my orders keep getting declined. It's so annoying. That sounds more of like a banking problem, but I hope you get it figured out. I'm sorry. Tailosive, good morning, my man. Was about to watch a Same Brain episode, but my boy Drew is live. You should watch the Same Brain episode. I'm going to be live lots of times. That probably sounds far more interesting. Nick Bro Gaming donated $1. Didn't say anything, but thank you. Louis DeCamps, you look very professional. I like your profile picture. You got dressed up for that. People don't do that enough these days. He says, the iPad mini is really tempting. What are your thoughts on the Apple Watch delay? They don't even have a date. You think it's even in production? I think it's in production. It's just they ended up having quality control issues that they weren't anticipating. I know that there's been some very crazy speculation on what went on with the Series 7, and I don't personally buy into that. I think that Apple doesn't change things that last minute. I think if what people are saying is true and they were gonna go with a Series 7 design, and then like on the last week or like the last month before September, like at the end of August, they ran into production issues and then suddenly switched to a different design. Like if they were having that cataclysmic problem with the Series 7, I feel like they would have scrapped it entirely. I don't think they could have quickly switched to a curvy pixel that goes over the display with the thicker glass that's more durable and that design. Like, personally, from what I've read and from what I've heard, that type of design decision and that mass production decision, even if it's delayed, like I believe that they're having mass production problems and that's probably why it's delayed, but I don't believe that confirms the existence of the squared off watch. Basically, Brent Dennison also became a member. Thank you very much. No, iPhones don't sell out, Sylvie. They just get delayed. But yes, we're seeing 1 terabyte iPhone ship dates slip. So some are being pushed back. I don't believe last minute changes like that. I think the production and the parts and the components and also just like watchOS as a whole, like the fact that they had to design watch faces like this that are exclusive, like with the like you couldn't really do this watch face as well with the squared off design, in my opinion. Like they're bragging about at the event, he specifically said when they unveiled the Series 7, they were like, and it has this great rounded curvature where the display folds over the side. Like they were proud of this. And you couldn't get this with the squared off design we were seeing. So I don't know. They would have to develop watchOS to sustain this. They were filming videos with the new watch. They were editing it into the keynote. And I do not believe all of that stuff is done at the last minute, final second. All of the components that go into the Series 7, the redesigned chassis, it has a different speaker grill. See, this isn't the same as the 6. Even though the chip is the same, I also don't consider that a confirmation. I just think that Apple probably realized that the Series 6 chip was overkill. It still is overkill. It charges plenty fast. It's a plenty powerful CPU and GPU. And they were like, okay, with all the orders we're getting from TSMC, we don't need to come up with a new Apple Silicon chip just for this watch because it's a watch. You're not using Final Cut on this. All of the parts that went into this design and the OS being ready for it with the keyboard and the dust resistance, 6X certification and the thicker crystal. You have to order and plan for this stuff months and months and months before you actually unveil it. So the fact that it's ready in the fall, I mean, I think it is in production now. It's just they need to wait until they've built up enough backlog. We'll never know for sure. I mean, people have all their different theories I've seen floating around. I don't buy it myself. I don't think Apple can change things that last minute. Myself, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Let's see. Angus Groom, thank you for becoming a member. Man, so many new members today. Holy crap, Hunter! What are you doing? Why $50? Oh my god. $50? Are you serious? Hunter, what are you... Okay, if you have an SE, do you think the Series 7 is worth it? I mean, the biggest difference is probably just the display. So if you care about having a bigger display on the watch, yes. If you don't care, then no. It's that simple. But that question did not deserve $50. My God. Jeez. Okay. Angus says, I've always thought in the past that my Series 6 had small bezels, but now whenever I look at them, they look so big. Dang you, Apple marketing. Angus, I'm going through the exact same thing. I always thought my Series 6 was like fine and there wasn't any problems with it. Now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, you know what? The bezels are kind of thick on the Series 6. What the heck? YJ says, if you look at a snow globe, it's got curvy glass that goes all the way to the edge, so I'm wishfully hoping Series 8 is the squared off design with the same curvy edge-to-edge display. I just think it would look weird. If the goal for the squared off watch is for it to match with the iPhone and the iPad, but it still has the 2.5D curved glass, I don't know. I don't get it. So the watch keyboard will be available only on Apple Watch 7. That's correct. Apple decided that the display is big enough on the 7 to allow for the keyboard. I don't know why. You probably could have done one on the smaller, but this is Apple. They got to get you to upgrade somehow. And yes, they will do software exclusives. They are not beyond that. Mac Rumors said there would be a S7 chip inside, but it's mostly the same. Yeah, I don't expect... Oh, Joey! Stop! What are you doing? 50... Guys, you can't you can't do this. How do I hit a refund button? Where's the refund button? Hold on. $51. Joey. All right. Stop. How do we turn off super chats? Happy iPhone 13 pre-order days, says Andy. Now we need to restrict to first class. Chris is so confident that we need to have a first class mode all the time. I think you are underestimating Apple here, Drew. Underestimating? I mean, okay, there's two ways I look at it. I'm probably going to repeat this argument for the Apple Watch video today. So either there's a lot of stories going on that I think are relying on a lot of speculation and assumption that every single rumor has to be real. Every single leak has to be for sure. Thank you for the donation, Town C. But basically, you can either not believe these reports and believe that this was the intended Series 7 design all along, and everyone was either trolled or Apple was sending out fake leaks to try to catch people. Both, I would say, are possible. There are people that will try to troll YouTubers for the sake of them being wrong. I've seen it happen many, many times in the past, and it has worked pretty effectively. So I've seen lots of people been incorrect. So it could be a troll, or it could be Apple trying to weed out the fake leakers. Or the alternative is that they are correct. The stories are true. They were going to have a squared-off design, and they were ramping it up for production, and then they ran into issues, and then at the last minute they had to change everything over to the actual Series 7, which is not squared off, and it looks more, the chassis at least looks more similar to the Series 6, and the real Series 7 was supposed to be squared off and have this super fast S8 chip. I don't know why we care about the chip speed of our watches, but okay, let's just say everyone's correct. Everybody's theory about the Apple Watch is right. If you believe that, how can you ever believe any leak ever? Because if that's the case and Apple can change things that quickly on a whim, then anytime someone leaks something that's like months in advance and says, this is what the next iPhone will look like. Thank you, Christian. And this is what the next iPad will look like. And this is what the next Apple Watch will look like. And if they're leaking that stuff months in advance, but you believe Apple is the type of company to change plans that quickly and switch everything over, no matter what you believe, whether you fall for these stories or you don't believe them, you probably just shouldn't believe those types of leaks then. Like, no matter if the stories are true, the point is you can't trust them. Like, no matter what happens, they're not reputable. Like, even leaks, if you truly believe Apple can change things that quickly, then you should not buy into any leak that says this is what a product will be in the next 6 months. There's, yeah, Tony is more like me. He's like, no way a design changes that. Like that could have happened so fast. Yeah, I don't personally think so. I think all of this stuff is decided long in advance. Okay, I'm saying thank you. I'm grateful. I just think there's it's fine when people become members. I'm grateful for, and people donate a few bucks here and there. That's great. But then all of a sudden people drop like $50 and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just flattered, basically. I'm too thankful. Okay, Town C says, do you think the new sensors will come out next year, like glucose monitoring? I actually really like the new ultra curve design. Yeah, it's grown on me a lot. I really love it, honestly. And glucose monitoring has literally been rumored for years, so I feel bad saying that, yes, it'll probably happen next year. I don't think we can say that with complete certainty, but leakers, who are not very reliable, did mention that there's a lot more health sensors planned for the Series 8. So we can't trust them, but that's what we're hearing is like the blood pressure monitoring or body temperature checking is rumored to be a bigger priority for the Series 8. Obviously, a lot of people now are saying actually the Series 8 will be the squared off design, but I feel like that could just be a lot of damage control. Jeffrey Lynn says, I love your presentation style. Watching your videos is like chatting with a dear friend, and you're one of the few tech YouTubers who does this. Love from Taiwan. Love back to Taiwan, Jeffrey. I'm a big fan of all of the conversations and streams we get to do, so I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad I feel like a dear friend. You guys feel like friends, too. Brent says, you feel like friends. You're not actually friends. Just kidding. We're friends, though. I have 1,400 friends. That's how social I am. Brent says, Tailosive crew is getting bigger and stronger today. Yeah, it is. There's too many people. Ryan says, it isn't often I'm a bigger Apple sheep than Drew. Yeah, it is. That's well, I mean, anyone who liked the 24-inch iMac instantly looked like a bigger Apple sheep than me. Is it okay that I didn't put my email when ordering, but I see my order in the app? I didn't know you could do that, but I guess it's fine. Thank you, Lewis, for the super chat. Okay, Christian says, I'm going to get a 128 gig graphite now. I just realized that all my photos are in the cloud and not local storage. Oh, well, yeah. How much local storage are you taking up at that point? Christian said, I'm going to get a 128 gig graphite. Oh, he super chatted it and wrote it down. Randy said, oh, shoot, I got to catch up here. I really don't buy into the leaks, to be honest. I think it's okay to report on leaks. It's just people need to look at them with far more skepticism. Don't treat them as fact. I think far too many people look at every leak and go, oh, okay, that's happening, and that's for sure, and they get their expectations way too high. I see it happen time and time again. Oscar, what the crap? No. Oscar. No. 100? Are you serious? The real S7 is now in storage to become the Series 8, like the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant. The Apple has this giant warehouse of boxes. Oh my gosh. What did you do, Oscar? He just said, have a nice day. He didn't even ask a question. Oh, Oscar, what are you doing? Ryan says, ask Marco Arment sometime about how a more powerful watch chip can aid development. Developing for the watch is shambolic? Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't develop. I'm just saying it doesn't shock me that Apple didn't come up with a new chip one year, because the watch is still overkill for its performance. Randy says some are being generous just to keep seeing your reactions. Well, okay. I need to have less reactions then. Oh my goodness, that's $100. Someone said to just say "Have a nice day." Oh, my goodness. Glucose monitoring is super hard medically. Sorry for the cap. It's okay. Occasional all caps is fine. Well, not all caps. Occasional caps is fine. Just don't do like your whole message in all caps over and over and over again. Like that's when it gets old. If you're just trying to emphasize your point, like glucose monitoring is super hard, that's fine. Man, I need some different animations. I should have some kind of different pop-up when someone donates that much, because my God, you guys are crazy. Why are you so nice? Yeah, I have heard that as well. Apple has been trying to do glucose monitoring for years, and it's very difficult for them to get it fine-tuned accurately. But I know a lot of people in my personal life that have specifically asked me about that. Like people outside the tech community that are not interested in iPhone cameras or CPUs or any of that. And they were like, can the Apple Watch check my glucose levels? Because that's a really frustrating part that diabetics have to put up with. So if the watch could do that, it would be a top seller. It already is a top seller. It would sell even better. Okay, Louis DeCamp super chatted, says they did run into production issues for the Apple Watch. Yeah, I think that goes without saying just because the Series 7 isn't available to order today. I just don't personally believe that production issues confirm that the squared off design was supposed to happen and then didn't happen. I think that when there's production issues, kind of like with any product, I've never heard of a time very regularly at all where there's a production problem, and because the production problem can't be solved, they completely scrap the entire design. Like that part of the leak doesn't, that part of the rumor that's floating around right now doesn't make sense to me. You wouldn't be ordering all these parts from suppliers and ordering all these components, start mass production, find out there's mass production issues, and then scrap the entire design because you've already ordered a ton of parts and you've already started working with a ton of suppliers and you've designed a whole chassis differently to build a watch like that. I don't think it's the solution is you figure out how to mass produce it. The solution isn't scrap the entire watch and go with a totally different design. That would take more time and more effort and more energy because you have to order completely different parts and supplies now. So I don't think it's a matter of like they were trying to produce the squared off edge design, which honestly, why would the squared off edge design be an issue? It's a square. It's like, okay, the chassis actually should be easier for component storage now. But Apple running into production issues with getting the display to curve over the edges like that and be all warped so that the pixels can be viewed from the sides and stuff, that I can believe. Like, okay, that's a different manufacturing technique. It's a different display. They're ordering different panels for a different watch design now. I could see them running into issues with that. I think people are just kind of assuming too much. They're like, this was delayed, which means this must have been real and that had to get scrapped and they switched it. I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily what it means. I think there's a lot of things we'll never know. But if you're running into production issues with your watch, I don't think you just scrap the entire design, like, especially this late. Like, I think that what the report sounded more likely to, for me, was the yields of the production were not good. So basically, they were mass producing a bunch of Apple Watch Series 7s in the design we see, and a lot of them didn't have the quality control that Apple was looking for. Either the glass wasn't sticking correctly or the display panel wasn't bending the way they like it to. So some of the watches were being built correctly, but too many of them were failing. Pretty much any product that goes through mass production, there's a yield of how many of them are good and how many of them are scrapped because they weren't at a high enough quality control. And typically products that Apple sells is in the high 90% of like, the vast majority of these phones are good and they don't have to be scrapped. So I don't think like if the yields aren't high enough for an Apple Watch that they just completely ditch the entire design. That doesn't make sense to me. Peterman says, MKBHD made a solid point that leaks in general are just aesthetic and entertainment. It ruins the exciting factor of the keynote, so I might just stop watching leaks. I don't think it's mostly aesthetic. I think like a lot of talks last year were about features. Will this phone have 120 hertz? It's the same with this year. It's like there were a lot of talks about this year's iPhone is going to have, portrait mode video and it's going to have ProRes video recording. And is it going to have an always on display? It's not always aesthetic. I partly disagree. Haken says, not going to lie, these streams are why I watch you over MKBHD. You should still watch MKBHD. He's the best tech channel. Sorry. Can't help. You can't fight me on that. I disagree with him a lot, but production value and how simple he makes his topics to understand. I'd come live in California except for cost. If you don't live in the Bay Area or Los Angeles, California's not that expensive. How much does YouTube take from 30%? How much does YouTube take from super chats? 30%, unfortunately. I wish it was less, but I can't change that. It's not up to me, unfortunately. So yeah, the insanely generous Oscar donated $100. I will probably end up getting somewhere around $70. But he also donated through iOS, so I don't know if Apple takes a cut of that as well. It might turn into even less than that. I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you for helping me afford this iPhone. Seriously, but really, really appreciate it. And the iPad mini. You have a higher cost of living over there in California? It's really not that high if you're not in a major city. I don't live in a major city. I don't live in a highly populated area, so it's not that bad. But it does cost money. Life does cost money. So yes, good guy Oscar. Thank you, Dennis, for the super chat. Once the stream ends, I'm going to sleep. Oh, man, now I feel like I need the stream to end. I want you to sleep, Curbside. It's funny you mentioned the 24-inch iMac. I'm a sucker for that design. Love that it's a throwback to the days of the colored iMacs. Well, I'm glad someone likes it, because I don't. I don't believe the iPhone 14 renders personally, no. Drew is getting that food pantry money this morning. Yeah, exactly. Holy crap. I'm trying to keep up on the messages here. August Amberson says, I don't need sleep tracking because I don't sleep. Oh, smart. That's some good life planning right there. Okay, I think I caught up. You make it more personal. These next 7 days are going to be the longest ones of the year. I know. It's always killer waiting for the new iPhones to show up. Okay, today is giving me throwbacks to the attic days when Drew used to pour water on himself in exchange for super chats. You really were desperate to do this full time. Well, because I love this job. I'll end the stream on a high note. I do genuinely love this because, for those who don't know, basically there's not a ton of people in my personal life that I get to talk about this kind of stuff for. I love talking about new iPhones and camera features and new Apple Watch designs and speculating on mass production and upcoming features. And I have a ton of interest in all this, and there's not really people I get to talk about it with in my personal life. So, like, making content like this where I get to interact, when I get to stream and interact with you guys directly and talk to you, and we get to speculate and have fun, like pre-ordering stuff together and talk about which configuration we're getting and which configuration you think is worth it. Like, it just feels like having a great interaction with a community that has similar interests. Like, we're all kind of into the same stuff, which is obviously what a lot of friendships and communities are built out of. So I would be doing this same job even if I had all the money in the world. I would still want to interact with you guys, and I would still want to make these videos. So basically, as long as I'm making enough to pay the bills and pay my taxes and, pay for cost of living or the water bill and food and, transportation and all that, then I just want to keep doing this because I have a blast doing it. So yeah, I'm very grateful for you guys allowing me to have this job. So yeah, way back when, I was willing to do a lot of things to make this my full-time job because I had so much fun doing it, though I felt like I could do it forever, basically. It is a beautiful day. Thank you, Steven. It's still dark outside for me, though. There's no light outside. I don't know if it's beautiful yet. I gotta look. It's probably smoky. Chelsea says, I'm trying to understand how it would be possible to check glucose. I'd love it as a hypoglycemic, low blood sugar. Gotcha. Yeah, I know a ton of people that would make great use out of it. I think there are theoretically ways. Apple has a few patents that lets your watch, like, not the watch, but health sensors look into your body to, like, check things. And I think glucose is just one of those things that could be checked. I don't know the science of it, but I know Apple's been working very, very hard. It's been rumored ever since like 2017 that they want to have some kind of glucose monitoring. So yeah, I know it's technically difficult, but whoever can crack that code, whoever can figure it out, is going to have a ton of people buying it. Curbside says, I want a kolache and a donut, but too much calorie. I want a donut too. Donut sounds really good right now. But I'll just stick to my water, which I forgot to drink. Mm. Ryan says, who knows? Maybe a bunch of parts are in the recycle bin somewhere. Peterman says, well, it's possible that those same parts would be used for the Series 8, but they needed time to work out the issues, and it was crunch time given how close we were to a keynote. Well, they could just delay it. I don't think the easier solution is to completely change the design and switch to something else. I think the easier thing is just to say it'll ship later this fall, not to... Yeah, it doesn't make sense today. Postponing it would harm quarterly sales. Well, they're doing that now. That's what they've done. To me, it makes more sense that they ran into production issues with the actual Series 7 design, and that's why it's delayed. Not that design came up with at the last minute and they had to switch it. A double-sided design would be a nightmare to deal with. Agreed. Thank you, Iron Panther. I got to keep up with the super chats here. Curbside said, oh, my God. The chat always screws up. Thank you, Jax RT, for the super chat. Do you believe the Prores 14 renders? I don't know why anyone would at this point. Like, why would you? If he was giving us inaccurate iPad mini leaks all year and giving us inaccurate Apple Watch leaks all year, I don't care if last-minute design change. Okay, they could do the same thing with the 14. Last-minute design change. We couldn't get that design that was leaked a year ago to work, so they went with something else. Like, why would we believe it at that point? Why does anyone believe it at this point? Whether or not it's real shouldn't really matter. Whether or not it happens is impossible to know, and I don't think it's possible. Honestly, I think that the design looks too thin for no camera bump. If the design of the iPhone is to be thicker to accommodate the camera bump, it would look way thicker than it did in the renders. Dennis super chatted and says, have you tried YouTube picture-in-picture on iOS? Yes, I have. It's kind of not as useful as I thought it would be. It's kind of annoying. I have to always be moving it, and it's always in the way of something. So it was like, after all these years of people asking for it, we finally got it, and I was like, it's fine. I don't love it that much, though. I think the leakers misread the flat design with the flat screen curving to the edge. Well, if the leakers are saying that the CAD files leaked and the CAD files are confirmation that it was going to be squared off, the CAD files did not have 2.5D glass. All of the CAD files showed a flat edge design, which wouldn't have worked with this type of watch face that Apple was clearly bragging about with the pixels going over the edge and stuff. You need a specific type of glass for that to work, and the CAD files were not supporting that. So either the CAD files were fake, or something was messed up. Okay, I'm trying to keep up. Okay, how it would be possible? Okay, I read that. Double-sided chip. Okay, I think the leakers misread. I kind of wish Apple Watch was on sale today. My Series 3 is dying. Yeah, I know. A lot of people wanted to get the watch. This is weird. We're so used to getting watches in September. Curbside says, I want to keep a low-key profile, and graphite stands out the least. Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't stand out that much. Brent says, MKBHD is okay, and I mean his writing/opinions. His hour-long iPhone video was awesome and honest. Yeah, that was a good one. That's the problem, Drew. I want to live in Silicon Valley. Yeah, that's basically the most expensive place to live in the world. I'm so excited. I just pre-ordered the 13 in pink for my mom's birthday. Aw. You're a nice son or daughter, yours. I'm not sure if that's a female or male name. We should disregard almost everything. I'm not saying disregard it all. I'm just saying look at it with the past experience of like, okay, the iPad mini leaks ended up not being correct. The Apple Watch leaks ended up not being correct. The AirPower leaks weren't correct. The MacBooks at Dub ended up being correct. His event dates ended up being incorrect. So just look at track record and be like, okay, this is what one person is saying. My goal is not for everyone to ignore every leaker. I hope, like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, that's not my goal, because obviously leaks help us give things to expect. They help us know what to anticipate, and they give us things to be excited for. So I'm not saying we should get rid of all leaks and ignore them. I just think that there's too much people that look at leaks and treat them as fact, and they use the term confirmed. Or I saw way too many people saying, you know, new design revealed or new design confirmed, and it's definitely not confirmed, and the actual Series 7 design is proof of that. These are not confirmations as often as people make them out to be. Did I miss a super chat? I'm trying to keep up. It just takes. If I ignored every message and just read every super chat as soon as it came in, the stream would not be as interesting. Okay. We should make a Cash App. YouTube, don't take your money. It's actually far more complicated for me to accept donations directly because then I have to account for all those on my taxes, and the IRS. I'm not going to get a 1099 tax form if I just receive like hundreds of dollars a year through the Cash App or through PayPal or something. So the IRS doesn't like it as much when you do that. However, when you guys super chat, it all gets sent to me at the same time with my AdSense that I get paid through my YouTube videos. Bogdana super chatted, says, I heard that California is pretty expensive, but New York state taxes are crazy living in Buffalo. Yeah, I know New York's pretty crazy too. California, I think people make it out to be worse than it is. Again, obviously it's terrible in the Bay Area and Los Angeles and San Diego. All the major cities, really, really bad. But if you're like a couple hours outside of them, you can find pretty reasonable pricing. The property tax in California is actually some of the lowest in the country. It does have state income tax, but I also think that people make that out to be a bigger problem than it really is. Like, when I do my taxes every year, I get hit much higher with federal income tax than I do state income tax. Like Texas has no, like there's a lot of states like Washington and Oregon and stuff that don't have state income tax, but their property taxes usually end up being higher, and they tax you through other ways. So it's like, there's always some way they end up taxing you. That's just a different method. Ahab can you remove the air power sound? It keeps reminding me of something that will never come. Well, I feel like it's a good use for it because air power is not happening, obviously. So we get to appreciate the sound effect. Zach says my girlfriend is nice enough to smile and nod even though she doesn't care about tech. She sounds like my wife. I'm always like, honey, which color do you think I should get? And she's like, I don't know, silver, but do what you want. She didn't really care. Marngel says, just joined the stream. It's the first time I pre-ordered something from Apple. Looking forward to getting my 13 mini. Yay! The first time pre-orders. Awesome. Okay, I think I caught up on the super chat. Oh, no, wait, not yet. Iron Panther said, make a Cash App so YouTube doesn't take your money. Oh, wait, I thought I read that. Okay, I think I caught up. Would you buy the Apple car if it ever happens? Highly unlikely that the Apple car would happen, and also highly unlikely the Apple car would be priced in a reasonable way. More than likely, if Apple did make a car, it would be well over $100,000, and it would be some luxury premium vehicle, and I have no interest in spending that kind of money on a car, even if it's made by Apple. I'm still very much on board the Tesla train. But if by some miracle Apple came out with a car that I thought was really technically impressive, and it had good range, and it had iron phosphate batteries, and it could access the supercharger network, which it sounds like all EVs will later. And it had all that, and it was somehow, fairly affordable, $50,000 or less or something like that, then that would be great. I would consider it at that point, but I still have a feeling Tesla would be ahead in autonomous driving. Okay, Christian says, I'm not going to watch leaks as a challenge. I want to leave the hype and excitement for the events in the future. Well, the tech community might get a lot more boring for you, but yeah, that's fair enough. There are 7 Apple stores in under a 50-minute drive where I live, so that's pretty insane. 7 stores? Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot. Brent says, Browser's lost a whole lot of cred this week. Yeah, I mean, it's going to, I think, hold up on the record. Even if it ends up being true, I mean, we have no way of proving it was true. But even if all of the excuses we're hearing are true of, well, they went into issues and they changed their mind, it's like, okay, they can do that on every leak you ever put forward now. So just be aware of that. Don't trust leaks that far in advance if Apple is capable of changing the design that quickly. That's unbelievable. Ricardo says, also, they changed the chassis, glass, and screen in any case, so is not that they just went back to old shape, but if you remember the leaked picture of comparison from above was pretty accurate. I'm trying to remember the leaked picture. I don't remember the leaked picture. But yeah, they did change more than I think people are making it out to be. I don't know what people were expecting. Like, they leaked a squared off design, which functionally doesn't really add anything. Well, I'm kind of spoiling today's tech video. That's kind of what today's video is going to be on. It's going to be like, so everyone is upset that the chassis isn't square, which doesn't really do anything. It's just a design choice. But making the display bigger and having thinner bezels is also a design choice that I think makes the watch look way more futuristic and way modern. And I ran all these polls, and most people are very happy with the real Series 7 design. People think it looks great. So people are like, oh, the Series 7 isn't as big an upgrade as it was meant to be. It's like, what big upgrade were you expecting? It was just going to look different either way. Whether it was squared off or thinner bezels, it was still going to be an aesthetic upgrade. There wasn't many functional changes rumored at all. What was the model, color, and storage you ordered for your phone? I just joined. 256 gig Graphite Pro Max. YJ says, not defending the leakers, but I can understand the possibility that Apple was simultaneously prototyping the rounded 2.5D glass and the squared off designs, and they chose the rounded one instead. Yeah, that's also a perfectly reasonable possibility. Again, we'll never know for sure, because that kind of thing can't be confirmed or not confirmed or disproven. But because of that possibility being real, it's another reason as to why we should not take leaks as confirmations, which is, I think, my bigger frustration is a lot of people will hear a report and say, okay, that's real. That must be happening. That's not. There's not enough skepticism, basically. And like that could have been the case. Maybe Apple, I also think it's totally possible Apple was trying out a squared off design and the Series 7 actual design with the rounded chassis and the display going over the edge. They built both. They tested them internally, and they got some internal employees' opinions or some customer sample tests opinions, and more people preferred the Series 7 design. Maybe they tried out a few. They were like, which watch do you think looks better? Do you like the squared off one or do you like the rounded one? They tried out both, and most of the people they gave the prototypes to were like, I think the rounded one looks cooler. It looks more futuristic. It looks more modern. The squared one, a little too boxy for me. Looks kind of clunky. Looks kind of chunky. If that's the case, then okay. Apple was like, all right, we won't do that one. Most people will like the new one. Because that's the example I actually see happening here. I see a lot of people loving the Series 7 design, including myself. And my expectations were exceeded. I wasn't disappointed by the design. I was surprised. I was like, that's not what I thought. And it looks way better. Apple Watch Series 8, A New Hope. I've never seen people so pumped for a squared off chassis. Ryan says, won't buy a Tesla, won't buy anything to give you. Okay. I don't want to get into the Elon hate. It's a long discussion. Hate it when my credit card declines because it doesn't think it's me ordering. Now I have to go pick it up instead of having it delivered. Oh, I'm sorry, Courtney. That is frustrating. Angus says, I swear every stream gets onto states without income tax hit you with property taxes instead after long enough. It's true. Illinois' property taxes are the worst, basically, especially Chicago. Oof. That's not good. Texas has crazy high property tax, so it kind of evens out. I don't know if the square design was official or not, but I certainly wanted it to be. Well, the fact that it didn't happen, I think, is evident that it was not official. Hoping for it in the Series 8, I just feel like it's time for a more noticeable redesign. I don't think it's that noticeable, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think anyone will care. Like, if you hold the watch up to them, hey, this one has a squared off chassis. I think they'll notice a larger display, though. I think that will stand out more than a chassis being squared off. I think people just wanted a more aesthetic change. Sure, the functionality wouldn't change, but it wouldn't stand apart from previous models and would blend in with other squared products. That's what I'm saying. I think this does stand out. This looks drastically different, in my opinion, even if the chassis is still round. I mean, just look at the side-by-side. Like, if this isn't an aesthetic change, then I don't understand why you think the Series 3 to 4 was an aesthetic change. It's still a rounded chassis with rounded corners and a display with a digital crown. And frankly, even with the squared off edge design, I don't think many people would notice. I don't think it would stand out in public. Ooh, he has the Series 8. But if you hold up the watch and it's like, hey, the display's bigger, you can see more information now. You can have bigger watch faces. You can have pixels readable from more angles and that kind of thing. If anything, this is slightly functional. Okay. If Apple went with the squared off design, they could ditch the side button altogether and make it similar to the AirPods Pro. Have you squeeze the sides to go home? I don't think that would be better, to be honest with you. I think some buttons are good. How old are these people that still think the Square S7 was legit? Yeah, I know. I think I caught up. The flat design difference is very noticeable. Well, we never know because people don't have them. I think a larger display is more noticeable than a squared off chassis. If leakers are wrong about the watch design as recently as this week, then what are the odds of Touch ID coming back next year? Not likely at this point. If there was a year to bring back Touch ID, it was this year with the pandemic and everything, and they didn't do it. Anyway, I've been live for almost 2 hours. You guys have been insanely generous, and I got some more videos and podcasts to record today. A lot of stuff to do, so I'm going to sign off here, but I just want to, once again, clearly and from the bottom of my heart, insane thank you for all the generosity, especially from Oscar today, my God, and all our new YouTube members as well. I'm signing off, so I appreciate you all for tuning in, and hope you have an excellent rest of your day, and stay tuned for more live streams. Of course, there will be lots more, so hope you all enjoy your pre-orders, and take care, all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.